All right. So this time I'll turn it over to Jada for our health nugget for this week.
Hello, Sabbath School.
Hello, Jada.
I hope everybody had a good week and you were able to make your salad dressing at one point. Before we start on this week's health nugget, which is about a biblical fruit, I want to remind everyone about our hydration challenge. Make sure you're getting enough water. And if you don't remember and you need to know how much you need, take your weight divided by 2, and that quotient in ounces is how much water you need. So if you have congestive heart failure or some other kind of heart failure, renal failure, that's not for you because you're trying to get rid of water. But most of us need to have sufficient hydration. So this is the reminder that I'm going to give you. Please try to get your water in. It can be a challenge, but that's what it is, a challenge. So just keep trying. Don't give up.
And
Today's
Jada,
yes.
and Jada, I divide that number into 8 to give you a simple, like how many glasses. Sometimes, it's
Oh,
this.
divide the quotient into 8.
Divide 8 into the quotient, and that
Yeah.
tells you how many glasses a day.
Yes, that's a good idea also. And you and that's what she needs to stay hydrated. You have to figure out how you can stay hydrated, and I call it your hydration personality. Um, if you, like me, have to fill up your 3 glass bottles at the beginning of the day in order to do it, then you do that, or get a cute bottle, whatever it is that you need to do to stay hydrated, then do that because it helps a lot. Your body can't function without water, and your immune system, we're in the middle of a pandemic that is getting worse. Your immune system can't work properly if you are dehydrated all the time. So let's get into this week's health nugget. It's about a biblical fruit, and I believe any biblical foods we need to pay attention to because God mentioned it so many times, and that's the olive. The olive, its oil, and its leaf have a lot of health benefits that we should take advantage of, and that is easy to take advantage of because, like last week, we made our own salad dressing. And too bad Steve missed it because that was dedicated to him. But you can put it on your food. You can take it as a supplement, like for a teaspoon if you need to. But there are a lot of health benefits you may not know about olives and olive oil. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. A friend of mine was craved olives all the time. And every time we went out, I love Middle Eastern food. So usually we went to a Middle Eastern restaurant and she would order just like a bowl of olives. I mean, she was always craving olives. And I said, I've got to figure out why you crave olives so much. Well, she went to the doctor. I think it was a naturopathic doctor, and she had a complete workup. And she found out she had an overgrowth of candida in her gut, and that's why her digestion was off. Well, olive oil, olive leaves, and olives actually help to kill candida, and it's antifungal. And that's her body was asking for that to help kill that's in her gut. And that's one thing that olives do. The olive plant is antifungal. So if you're having digestive problems, could be you have an overgrowth of yeast in your gut. If you're having other yeast issues, fungal issues, it could be because, and it could be if digestion problems. It could be because you have that growing. So I believe you need to pay attention to your cravings. So about 10 years ago, there was this UC Davis study that caused an uproar saying that a lot of olive oil isn't real olive oil. And then also I saw on 60 Minutes, I don't know if anyone ever saw that story on 60 Minutes where they said the mafia in Italy has gotten involved with the olive oil trade and they started to dilute it. And that was some years ago, but I remember seeing that. So now everybody started to test their oils, which was a good thing because the North American Olive Oil Association started testing olive oils so that we can make sure we have pure 100% olive oil. And it is something that we need to do because it has so many health benefits. So let's talk about some of the health benefits of olives and olive oil. We know it's a healthy fat. It's a monounsaturated fat, and that helps to lower cholesterol. And there have been studies to show that you can actually reverse heart disease if you replace all of your bad fats in your diet with olive oil. It's good for your brain. Lord knows we all need that right now. Your blood vessels, your hair and skin. I used to wet set my hair with, this was like before I even knew all of this years ago, with just water and olive oil. And the curls would stay for a long time, and my hair was nice and smooth and shiny because olive oil has so many health benefits. It's a biblical thing. It helps with diabetes, your immunity. It's anti-inflammatory. It's good for osteoporosis. So many good for cancer, antioxidant rich. There's so many things that we need from this biblical plant. So how do you eat olives? I prefer olives. This is one of my favorites, and I think it's pronounced Castelvetrano. That's what not sure. I like olives that still have pits in them. But to me, they have more flavor. So I'll just get an olive pitter, and you don't have to do this, but you know, to me, it just has more flavor. Take that pit out, and then you have olive oil. I mean, you take your olives and eat it that way. To me, that is the best tasting olives when you get it in the pits, but you don't have to. There's so many different varieties. Another thing, black olives, I found out, don't have as many antioxidants as the other varieties of olives. So when I was at Oakwood, I don't know if somehow they found, someone donated a big giant 18-wheeler truck of black olives to them because they put black olives in everything. Every meal, it was black. I got to the point where I couldn't stand black olives because Oakwood, I don't understand it. It was black olives everywhere. And they don't have, they're okay, but they don't have as many antioxidants as other olives. So you have Kalamata olives, olive stuffed with garlic, so many olives, and then you're helping your body with this snack. You can put it in your salads, you can eat it. As my friend did, she was craving it. So what do you do to find out if you have real olive oil? Because of that UC Davis uproar, the North American Association, North American Olive Oil Association did a lot of testing, and you can go on their website. It's NAOOA.org, and they have a list of olive oils that they've tested to make sure they're 100% pure olive oil. One thing you should do is look for olive oil that is in a glass, dark. If it's see-through, stay away from it. Glass is best. And also, you can look for their seal. That's the way it looks right there. And they said to look for also harvest dates instead of best by dates. My husband won't eat anything one day past best by on a label. And that's just for the store. If it said best by Friday, if it's Sabbath, he will not eat it. But that's a whole other thing. But when it comes to olive oil, and I say this is an old bottle, I say because I like this bottle. But you see the harvest, they put the harvest time on there. I've had this bottle that long, but it's just so cute. I just saved it. But look for something like that so you know you're getting the best. And also buy extra virgin olive oil because that is the first press and that has the most. So you eat the olives and you put the olive oil in your diet somehow to help your heart and all the other things that I mentioned. So olive leaf, you can drink olive leaf tea if you want to. I have been consuming olive leaf for many years, and it's really good for a lot of things like sinuses, allergies, everything that the oil and the fruit are good for, because this is a fruit. That the olive leaf is good for that as well, especially the antifungal problem. And a lot of us have problems, and it's caused because we have an overgrowth of candida. So one thing you need to remember, now I started taking olive leaf extract. I don't talk a lot about supplements. I rather talk about the whole food, but this is something that's so good, I want to mention it. It does help lower your blood pressure, and it is good for lowering blood sugar. So if you are on blood pressure medicine, or if you're taking something to lower your blood sugar, then make sure you get with your healthcare practitioner, because then you'll have two things that are doing that. But if you aren't and you're worried about your blood pressure, put olives, that biblical fruit, that biblical plant, in your diet, and it will help you a lot. This has helped me with my sinuses a lot. Olive leaf extract. I love it. I love it a lot. And look for oleoropin, which is the antioxidant. Look for that on the label. 20% or higher is the better. And that's the way I shop when I look for olive leaf extract. Or you can get the tea and make the tea. I actually bought some of the tea as well. It's not delicious, but it's not bad. And if you taste a bitterness in your olives or your olive oil, especially with your olives, that could possibly be the antioxidants that you taste. Now, if your olive oil tastes rancid, or if it doesn't taste fruity like olive oil, you might have some of that olive oil that has been cut with canola oil or something like that. But if you go on the North American Olive Oil Association's website, they have a list of olive oils that they've tested, so we can get the full health benefits of olive oil in our diet, and we could be eating what Jesus ate. He ate olives and olive oil. And that's one reason why we need to pay attention to what biblical fruits and herbs that they talk about in the Bible, like hyssop and things like that. The Lord is trying to tell us something. So are there any questions? Oh, and I also have to tell you that the best thing to do, if you can, is to buy local, just like we do with honey. There is there are a lot of Georgia olive growers now. I remember years ago when Daddy was sick, we were watching PBS, and I saw them go to an olive grove in Georgia, and they were selling saplings so that you can grow. And there was a variety that would grow in Georgia. And I asked Daddy, he was sick, he could barely speak, you remember. And I said, Daddy, do you want me to order some of those? And he shook his head, yes. And how many? And he said 3. So when I talk to him, I always talk to him like, when you get better, do you want to grow? Or when you get better, do you want to do those things? That's the way I spoke to him. And he wanted to grow olives in the yard amongst the other plants that he planted back there. So if you can, try to get American grown olive oil, and you can look on the bottle, and that's best. And look for that seal as well. So you can get all the health benefits that we need from our olives. And olive leaf extract is amazing. That is just one of the most wonderful herbs that I can talk to you about, is olive leaf extract. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is that website? You said NAOO?
NAOOA.org, North American Olive Oil Association.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember where you went to get the olive plants?
This is their symbol.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. What'd you say?
Do you remember where you went in Georgia to get the olive saplings?
That's the thing I couldn't remember. I went online to look and I saw so many different olive growers.
Uh-huh.
None of them, I think they stopped. That was for a short time,
Oh,
but they were offering the sapling. I looked on there to tell you all about it, and I cannot remember the name of it. So if you do a Google search for Georgia olive groves, they have several ones, but none of them that I saw offer saplings anymore, which is unfortunate. I guess that was just for that one time or short amount of time.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me ask a question. Olive is something that I also like.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I buy it, and the bottle normally said that, well, if you take 6, that's sodium that you are going to consume. And I know
Right.
we always say sodium is not very good for you. So,
That's,
so the one that you have now, does it tell you how many you can take, whenever you eat?
they do have the sodium content, and that's another thing I looked up was low sodium olives.
Uh-huh.
You can find. I don't buy them. I believe that potassium. Just get some potassium. Potassium rich foods. If you're going to have some olives, and that will take care of that. But if you are on a sodium restricted diet, then you can look for low sodium olives. I did look those up. I don't buy them, so I don't have an example here, but they do exist. And if you want the health benefits of the fruit, but you're worried about the olives, which they do list the sodium on here.
Mhm.
They do list the sodium. Put the olive oil in your diet, more of the olive oil in your diet. Replace all of your other oils with olive oil. I don't cook with olive oil unless it's a light saute. This is not what I would consider a high heat oil. Or you can try including the olive leaf extract or drinking the olive leaf tea, and that you will get the same health benefits as the fruit without the sodium.
Yeah, so we do use the olive oil. That's one oil that we use. But just like I told you before, I don't trust those things. They call them olive oil. I wasn't there when they put them just in the bottle. I don't know whether it's real olive oil or not. So like if you're watching just your cholesterol level, is at least what they presume to be just olive oil. Is that still good for people who are watching that just their cholesterol?
Yes, actually, olive oil lowers the bad cholesterol, the LDL. Several studies have been done to show how olive oil actually will reverse heart disease and lower cholesterol. So that's when you can't keep eating junk, but if you get rid of the animal fats and hydrogenated fats and bad fats out of your diet and use olive oil, I remember the study was like 4 tablespoons a day. So we put that in your diet. That actually helped to reverse cholesterol, bad heart disease, and lower the bad cholesterol, the LDL. So if you have a cholesterol problem, you will definitely benefit from this fruit, whether it's the oil, the fruit, or the olive leaf tea or olive leaf extract.
Okay.
And it's really good for skin. Oh my goodness, it's so good for skin. So I even read that it's good for psoriasis. And I was looking through all of my old notes, and it is good for autoimmune problems. So psoriasis is an autoimmune problem. I know that it really does help your skin and hair feel really soft when you use it. So that's another reason why we should include these in our diet, especially when we're making our own salad dressing.
I think you touched on this before, but I just want to make sure.
Mhm.
Olive oil, you should not fry with it or cook. Like it should be something that you consume raw, correct? Because of the heating point that it can tolerate.
Yeah, the smoke point, yes. You're correct. Olive oil, I do not consider that a high heat oil. It doesn't stand high heat. So maybe if it's a light saute, that's the only what I use olive oil for, but I consider it a finisher. After the food is done, you might want to put a little olive oil in it. When I make my hummus, after I've made, then I put the olive oil on the top. This is another fact. When you make olive dressing, when you make olive oil based dressings, or if you make hummus or something, if you put it in the blender too long, that whirling will bring out the bitterness in it. So if you make hummus and you put olive oil in it, I would suggest that you put it in after it's done. Only if you're going to mix it, if you're making your salad dressing, just mix it for a short time. If you put it in a blender or a food processor or something like that, but not for a long period of time, because it can actually make it taste bitter. So no, I wouldn't cook high heat or fry or anything with olive oil. So any other questions? Good for blood vessels. It's just so good for you.
So how would you?
I like to say, do you think that olives are always small?
No, I've seen olives, big olives. These olives are kind of big right here that I have. Not all of them are small. Let me open this up.
That's right. Because when I attended General Conference in the Netherlands, we went to markets and we were able to shop, and we bought olives that were as large as plums, and they were delicious.
Ooh, I'm glad that you should have brought me some back.
I really wish I could have, because, you have to write down everything you get from over there,
Well,
but, you could have said fruit from the Garden of Eden. That's what I could have said,
Mm-hmm. So, yes.
But and the trees were loaded. We saw them on trees, but we could not pick them from the trees. So we went to the markets and bought a lot of our fruit. But that was the most delicious olive I have ever eaten.
Oh, wow. Man, I wish I could have gotten some of those. I love olives.
I do too.
And maybe we need to talk to Sam about going to the Netherlands.
Yeah, Sabbath school class trip. Our next excursion, we'll go to the Netherlands so we can get us some olives. But just think, this is something we know Jesus ate.
Yeah, I've never tasted olive before. So the supplement that you recommend, is there a supplement you would recommend?
Olive leaf extract. You can buy the olive leaf tea, or you can get the extract. And just to make sure you look for a high oleoropin on content on the back. That's antioxidant content of it. But olives are delicious.
Jada, you said that the extract is good for what now? Again, please.
The oil?
The olive oil or the olive extract.
Oh, the
olive leaf.
Olive leaf extract is good for yeast and candida. It's antifungal. It helps lower blood pressure. It's good for your sinus I have sinus problems. It helps me with that. Allergies, boosts your immune system. It lowers your blood pressure. Matter of fact, let me get my old. Now I got olive oil all over my hands. Let me get my old notes out from like years ago. Okay, let me look on my iPad. Malaria. It helps your cartilages heal. It improves clotting modulation. Psoriasis. It's good for, I already mentioned antifungal because I've seen that in action. Somebody was craving olives like crazy. It's good for your pancreas, autoimmune problems. I'm looking in the notes that I wrote like long time ago in my, that's what I have in my notes as well. And everything that olive oil is good for, olive leaf extract or olive leaf tea is good for as well. Your brain.
How about diabetes?
Brain. Did somebody say something?
Yes. How about diabetes? Does it help with that?
Yes, it does. And that's why if you're on medicine to already, if you include that on there, you have to remember now you're taking two things that are going to lower your sugar, your glucose. So make sure that you are in touch with whatever healthcare practitioner that you have to make sure it doesn't fall too low. But
Okay,
if you're on anything and you're concerned about that, including this plant in your diet will help with that.
thank you.
Can you give us some
And
suggestions
Is
of
there like
some
a
oils
quantity?
that you would use?
okay, I'm
To
sorry, I
cook?
couldn't say that. I heard background noise. Go ahead.
Would you give us, could you give us some suggestions of some oils that you could use to cook with? I mean, I know olive oil we have and we use, which is, I know is good for, but
And like
just a side note, something that you could use with high heat. Like sometimes
high
I use avocado oil, but I'm not sure if that's even, I mean, I think it should be good, but do you have any other suggestions?
grapeseed oil is also I use for anything that I use a lot of heat. I use coconut oil for that. There's a controversy about that, but I feel comfortable using coconut oil. Safflower oil, I use organic safflower oil when I need to make something that has no added flavor. So when I make vegan cakes, sometimes I use safflower oil. Sometimes I'll make a vegan butter or I'll buy a vegan butter. But if I need an oil, I'll use safflower oil. That's another high heat. Matter of fact, I have an example of that. Oh, safflower oil. This is what I use. This is high heat. Sometimes when I'm sauteing to make like an Asian dish, a stir fry, sometimes I'll use coconut oil. But if I don't want to taste that coconut flavor because I have some other flavors that I want to shine through, I'll use this. So safflower oil.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Have you heard of red palm oil?
Yes, actually I have some.
Is it good to use?
I tried it. That red stuff got all over everything. I didn't quite like the flavor. There's a controversy about the red palm oil. I'm trying to find it now so I can show everybody. Nope, that's not it. I know I have some, but I'm not going to spend time looking for it. It's in the cabinet here somewhere. I have tried it before, but it is, I bought it once and I never bought it again. Let's just put it that way. So I guess that has to be a personal preference. There are some schools of thought are red palm oil is not good for you, and some people say it's fine.
Thank you.
So is there a quantity that you normally take? Like how many pieces of olive oil when every time you eat it?
How many you talking about? The olives or the
Yeah,
olive?
yeah, the olives. I meant to say the olives.
Well, if you're like me, I just eat. I'm a grazer, so I like to snack and I don't worry about calories. I have eaten like half a jar myself.
One time.
Yes. But a serving would be like 5 olives. Like these Kalamata olives, a serving is 5. These olives that are stuffed with garlic, and that's the reason why I ate so many, because they're stuffed with garlic, and I'm a garlic girl. I love garlic. I've never eaten that many like Kalamata, or I've eaten that many of these. These olives are real mild. These Castle Vetrano olives are. So the serving sizes are like 4, 5. These big olives, the serving size is 2. And if you are worried about sodium, you could actually, my hands are greasy now. I can't open this to show you how, dang, olive oil all over my hands. To show you how big they are, you can take them and slice them up. Mama, can you give me Yeah, give me something so I can open this. Is it kind of big? So 2 is not bad. You can take it and slice it up and put it in your salad. You see how big they are? You could take 2, would actually be a serving for a normal person. When it comes to garlic and olives, I'm not normal and I eat a lot. But you could slice this up, chop it up, and put it in your salad or with your hummus or whatever you want. And actually, that would be pretty good.
Oh, those don't have the seed inside.
No, these don't. These are stuffed with garlic.
Okay. Huh. How did they manage to? Wow, interesting.
Well, the way they do it is, I don't know. I used to watch the Science Channel all the time, just because I was a science major. But you know that show called How They Do It, where they go in factories and they show you how they make things. So they went to an olive factory, and there's a machine that holds individual olives. I don't remember how many at once. They hold individual olives, and they have something that bores, and of course it's not one olive at a time, but there's many olives, and they bore hole in it. Like, this is my pitter. I have a pitter, and they push out the olive pit, and then they send the olive down the conveyor line, and then they'll stuff it. Now that company had people stuffing them by hand. It was a smaller factory, but I assume that a larger factory maybe will have a machine. Soon as they bore the pit out, then they stuff the garlic in there. But that's the way they do it. I don't, the olives that have the pimento in it, that's what we all grew up eating. That's okay. That's not my thing anymore. I want mine stuffed with garlic or even jalapeno peppers. Or I just get it with the pit because that has the most flavor, and just pit it. Just get a pitter in it, or you can bite on it very carefully because these pits are hard. And the company takes the pits and they grind them up and they use them for other things. They send them off to another company and the company uses for other things. But one thing that's been overlooked a lot are the olive leaf. The olive leaves have been looked over, and that has the same benefits as the fruit and the oil.
So do they sell the leaf as well?
Yes, I have bought olive leaf tea. And I have some, and I can find it because I haven't used it in a long time. It's actually in the pantry. I started taking olive leaf extract, so I didn't even worry about the tea. But you can buy the tea
Okay.
from an herb company. I buy my herbs from an herb company. That's all they do is sell herbs and nothing else. So I don't know if you can get it from a health food store, because it's not like the most common type of tea that you can buy, because it's strictly medicinal. It's not like it's real delicious, but it doesn't taste real bad.
So do you know when you go to restaurants, some of them, they kind of like pour a little bit of oil and they put something inside of the oil, and I never know just what it is. And you can pretty much tap the bread just in it. Do you know what, just how to make that thing they put in the oil to make it like very, very tasty?
Well, one thing that makes olive oil thick is cold. If it's real olive oil and you put it in the refrigerator, it will stiffen up and get cloudy. If it's room temperature and it's thick, then something else has been added to it. So if you're trying to purposely thicken your olive oil, you can get what's that stuff? This stuff right here.
What I'm asking, do you know what kind of spices they put in the oil? Do you know?
Oh,
Have you ever had that before?
Oh, yes. Oh, to me, that's not thick. But yes, I do that all the time. When we have pizza here, I get oil and I get dried herbs, oregano, or you can get Italian seasoning. And so, yeah, your definition of thick is different from my definition of thick. So I do that all the time.
Yeah, I was trying to do this thing. I wasn't sure just what to put in it.
So this is olive oil that I poured out just to show you all.
Oh, I thought that was good.
Take the olive oil like that, pinch of salt if you need salt, or you can just put olives in there without any salt.
Okay.
And then just put some seasoning in there.
Oh,
And do it all the time when we have pizza.
this is
Do
what?
this.
What did you just put? What did you just put in there?
I put Italian seasoning in it, or you can use oregano. Sometimes I use just oregano. Stir it up.
Okay.
Like that. Is this what, does this look familiar? And you use that.
No, whatever they have is normally much more greenish. The ingredients look a lot more green. This one looks like pepper.
No, this is green.
Okay, I see.
See?
Okay,
So when things get wet, they tend to get darker.
I see. Okay, all right.
So, yeah. And you can make that yourself.
Then you
With
can
any
put the
kind of
bread in
dried
that.
herb.
Okay.
Oregano is my favorite to do that.
Oh, that's good.
But you can use Italian seasoning, whatever your favorite dried herb is, put that in there as much as you want, and you get that thickness that you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
And you make your own dipping, and you can put maybe just a tiny pinch, a few grains of salt in it if you want.
Okay.
And that's what they do. And that way, you know, you're getting, if you make it yourself, you know, you're getting 100% olive oil because
Yeah.
you're going to be buying real olive oil.
Hmm. Well, thanks for this one though.
So are there any more questions or comments, or does anyone make their salad dressing? I know Wendy told me, Wendy made a big thing of salad dressing and she loved it. And you can get all of your cholesterol lowering, diabetes controlling, immune boosting benefit from your salad dressing or from your dipping oil that you make with your herbs, or just from snacking like me.
This is Wendy. I can't go back to regular dressing anymore. I have to make it. My mom made it too, and she put it in the cutest little container.
Oh, he probably put it in the cruet. Probably was fancy that way.
So have you ever thought about making this to sell them? Have you ever thought about that?
Making the salad dressings or dipping
Yeah,
oil?
just the dressing.
Yes, I have thought about that.
Jada,
Yes.
you said that if we put the olive oil in the refrigerator and it gets cool, and if it stiffens up,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't have as many additives to it, or no additives at all?
The nature of pure olive oil is that when it gets cold, it will, in the refrigerator, because the refrigerator is like 30 something degrees, it will get cloudy and stiffen up.
Okay.
So that was a test that some people were using when, 10 years ago, this uproar started about olive oil being real or not. They were using that as a test, but it can't be a reliable test because there could still be some other oils in there that they used to cut it.
Okay.
And therefore, it's still going to get stiff and cloudy up. But because of that, there's been a lot more testing. They have the North American Olive Oil Association stepped in and has done a lot of testing to make sure that the olive oil that we get is real and 100%. So real olive oil will do that, but that's not necessarily a test to see if you have 100% olive oil.
Okay. Thank you.
So Jada,
Yes.
is it safe to say, okay, generally what I've noticed that when I go to just a regular store, it is in a dark bottle and does say 100% pure. So can we accept that as safe? I mean, that's what I usually buy, and it's more pricey to tell you the truth. So can we just continue to do that? You know, you go in and you see it and it says 100% olive oil, cold press, I think it says, and it says extra virgin. Of course, that's what I look for too. But it's always in a dark bottle.
Well, nowadays, because of this uproar, it is safer to trust labels than it was before.
Okay.
Thanks to that. But if you want to be sure, I would suggest you look for the symbol.
Okay.
And only buy it from reputable organizations. And to be 100% sure, buy olive oil that is pressed from one grove. Like if you get California olive oil and it just comes from California, or if you get Georgia olive oil or Texas olive oil, it just comes from there. Because a lot of times Spain produces more olive oil than anybody, but they'll send their olive oil to Italy in a tank, and then they'll bottle it and send it out there. And it's been sitting around for a long time, losing its antioxidant properties. So it's not necessarily 100%. They, from the grove to being sent somewhere else to be bottled, they could add anything else to it.
Okay.
But if you go on that website, naooa.org, they have a list of olive oils that they've tested.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jada, how about the salad dressing that has wine in it? What you think about that?
Well, it hasn't been cooked to get rid of that alcohol. So you might be, depending on how much wine is in it, you might be getting a little tipsy from that.
But see, I saw some in Publix yesterday had wine in it. I liked all the ingredients, but I would not buy it because wine was in it.
Right, and that has not been cooked, so it's going to have alcohol. So you could easily make some Aunt Gladys, just with, I don't know if you were on last, you can make an easy salad dressing with some olive oil, your favorite vinegar, and a pinch of salt, and your whatever dry herbs that you like.
Okay, but I'll get with you and Wendy to find out about that, because Wendy's not buying anymore. I heard her say that just now.
Yes.
Okay, so Wendy, I'm going to hold you to it. I hope you're still listening.
Yeah. I can't wait to eat all these.
I'm here, Aunt Gladys. I just followed Jada's instructions, and I put honey. I put a little bit of honey in mine, and it was really good.
And one thing
I'm
you
still
remember,
on that. I use wildflower honey. When I make my cold medicine, I use wildflower honey because wildflower honey will help cure allergies.
Mm-hmm. And remember, if you want an emulsifier, a little bit of mustard. Just put a little bit of mustard in it and shake it up, and that helps emulsify it. If you don't want that, you can't really taste it depending on how. You might want a honey mustard dressing. But remember that the old adage, oil and water don't mix, so vinegar and oil don't mix, or vinegar and lemon juice don't mix. You're always going to have to vigorously shake it every time. But if you put a little mustard in it, that emulsification will help kind of keep it together.
Okay.
I love olive so much.
I'm just curious, quick question. So what part of the olive did you say the oil is made out of? Is it the
fruit? They press the fruit.
Yeah.
So the inside or the outside or the whole, because you said you take out the center part.
When I've seen it, they pressed everything and then they squeeze out the oil. So the pits, everything, they just press it, they just mash it up, for lack of a better word. And then the oil is squeezed out that way. Now
I saw just a video and they show you this thing keep on turning. You know, it's a whole process.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I am always skeptical about those things. Look at how many people you have just in this world. I don't know how many holly trees that they have to give olive oil just to all those people. Because everywhere you
people
go,
who are skeptical like you should buy local. You should
everywhere
actually
you go, they actually have it. Everywhere you go, you see like olive or extra virgin, olive. So I always say to myself, like, okay, I never go to the store. They said that, well, I don't have any olive. They, they always have it, regardless when in the year that you go to. And I always say to myself, like, okay, is this thing real?
You should make a trip down to Valdosta. There's a Georgia olive grove. There's one also in Lakeland, I think. I can't remember. Just go there, let you go there and go get your olive oil there. And then you can see the process yourself.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and get your olive oil that way. For those of us who are a little less skeptical, but you want to make sure you get the best, look on the North American Olive Oil Association website, or just look for some olive oil that's come from one single grove, because a lot of them are mixed. They send it all over the place. So next time Peggy goes to Spain, I'm gonna have to have her bring me some olive oil there. You can get it from there before they send it out, so I can get that. But I love stuff grown in Georgia. I was so excited when I saw that PBS special about the olive grove here, and there's more than one. There are more than one. So get the health benefits, help your blood vessels, your cholesterol, your skin, your brain, your immunity, kill candida in your gut. You can do all your sinus problems, allergies. You can do all of that with this biblical plant, the olive plant.
Just one more question. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'm stuck on the heating process.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what happens when you fry or cook with olive oil? I just know someone who doesn't believe me every time I say you shouldn't do that. And I believe that it creates toxins, but I just wasn't sure, or I don't know if you know.
It can become rancid. Well, we all know how oil can become rancid. It spoils. And by doing that, heating kills a lot of antioxidant properties in a lot of things. Some things, like you can cook carrots or something, and that holds on to it, but it kills a lot of the antioxidant properties. And some oils, I think it's called acrylic acid, if I remember correctly. High heat can cause the formation of that. You'll have to do a Google search on that because I can't remember right now. But it kills a lot of the antioxidant properties of it and it kind of pushes it towards being rancid.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. So any more questions, comments, or any other people who are now into their own making their own salad dressing like me and Mrs. Edwards? Okay. Well, enjoy, everybody. Enjoy your olives. I'm about to go eat these olives up right now.
Thank you, Jada. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that health nugget.